This morning, I woke up early, about 7 o'clock. The sunlight was coming through the window. The light was soft and warm. It made me feel happy to start the day. I went to wake up my children gently. I said softly to them, "Good morning, Ayan." "Good morning, Sarah." They slowly opened their eyes. Sarah smiled and said, "Good morning, Mama." Ayan rubbed his eyes and said, "Good morning." I was so happy to see their faces in the morning. After that, I went to the kitchen to make breakfast. I started boiling water for tea and prepared eggs and bread. While I was cooking, Sarah came to me and asked, "Mama, what will we do today?" I smiled and said, "Today we will clean the house together. After that, we will play some games." Sarah clapped her hands and said, "Yay, I love cleaning and playing." Ayan came too and said, "Can I have some tea, please?" I said, "Of course, I will make tea for you." While cooking, I talked more with them. I said, "Breakfast will be ready soon. Please wait for a little while." Sarah said, "I am hungry." I laughed and said, "Don't worry. Breakfast is almost ready." We talked about our plans after breakfast. Ayan said, "I want to play football outside." Sarah said, "I want to read my new storybook." I told them, "That sounds like a good plan. We will do both." Soon, breakfast was ready. I called out, "Breakfast is ready. Come and eat, please." We all sat together at the table. I said, "Please pass the salt, Ayan." He gave me the salt with a smile. We enjoyed eggs, bread, and fresh fruit. Sarah said, "Mama, the eggs taste very good." I smiled and said, "Thank you, dear." While eating, we talked about our day. I said, "After breakfast, we will clean the living room first." Ayan asked, "Can I sweep the floor?" I said, "Yes, you can help me with that." Sarah said, "I will dust the shelves." We laughed and got ready to start our day together. After we finished breakfast, I said, "Okay, now it's time to clean the house." Ayan smiled and said, "I want to help. I will sweep the floor." Sarah said, "And I will dust the shelves and wipe the table." I gave the broom to Ayan and said, "Please sweep carefully so you don't hurt yourself." He said, "Don't worry, Mama, I will be careful." Sarah took a clean cloth and started wiping the dust from the shelves. I showed her how to wipe gently and said, "Hold the cloth like this and wipe slowly." She smiled and said, "Okay, Mama." While we cleaned, I talked with them. I said, "Cleaning is important to keep our home healthy and nice." Ayan said, "Yes, Mama, I like to help you." Sarah said, "Me too. Cleaning is fun with family." We sang a little song to make cleaning happy. I sang, "Clean, clean, clean the house. Make it bright and fresh." Ayan and Sarah joined in and laughed. We finished sweeping the floor and wiping the shelves. I said, "Great job, you both. The living room looks very clean now." "Thank you, Mama. What next?" "Next, we will clean the kitchen." Ayan said, "I will help in the kitchen too." Sarah smiled and said, "Me too." And then we all went to the kitchen to start cleaning there. Now we moved to the kitchen to clean together. I said, "The kitchen is very important to keep clean because we cook food here." Ayan took a small cloth and said, "I will wipe the table." Sarah picked up a sponge and said, "I will clean the sink." I showed them how to clean carefully. I said, "Use the sponge gently and wash the sink with water." Sarah listened and said, "Okay, Mama." Ayan slowly wiped the table and said, "The table looks shiny now." While cleaning, I taught them some more English sentences. I said, "Please wipe the table. Clean the sink. Throw the trash in the bin." Ayan repeated, "Wipe the table." Sarah said, "Clean the sink." We laughed and talked happily as we cleaned. I said, "Cleaning is fun when we work together." Ayan smiled and said, "Yes, Mama, it's fun with family." After finishing the kitchen, I said, "Great job. The kitchen is clean and fresh now." Sarah said, "I like cleaning with you, Mama." Ayan said, "Me too. It feels good to help." Then we all took a short break. I said, "Let's drink some water and rest for a little while." We all sat together in the living room and talked about what we want to do next. Sarah said, "Can we play a game after this?" I said, "Of course. After resting, we will play outside." It was a happy day, cleaning and spending time with my family. After our short rest, I said, "Now it's time to play." Ayan smiled and said, "I want to play football outside." Sarah said, "I want to read my storybook." We went to the backyard. Ayan took the football and started kicking it. I said, "Good job, Ayan. Kick the ball gently." He laughed and said, "This is fun, Mama." Sarah sat under a tree with her storybook. I said, "What are you reading, Sarah?" She said, "I'm reading about animals." I smiled warmly and said, "That's wonderful. Animals are very interesting." While they played and read, I talked to the camera. It's important for children to play and learn every day. Playing helps them grow strong and healthy. Reading books helps them learn new words and ideas. After some time, Sarah showed me a picture in her book. She said, "This is a lion, Mama." "Yes, it's a lion. Lions live in the forest." Ayan said, "I want to visit a zoo one day." I smiled and said, "Maybe we will visit the zoo soon." We enjoyed our playtime and learning together. It was a happy afternoon. After playing and reading for some time, I said, "Now it's time to prepare lunch." Ayan and Sarah came to the kitchen with me. Today, we will cook a simple and healthy lunch together. I took out the vegetables and rice. I said, "We need carrots, potatoes, and some rice." Sarah said, "I like carrots. They are sweet and crunchy." Ayan said, "I like rice. It is soft and tasty." I showed them how to wash the vegetables. I said, "First, wash the carrots and potatoes with clean water." Sarah helped and said, "I am washing the carrots carefully." Ayan said, "I am washing the potatoes." Then I started cooking on the stove. I said, "We will boil the rice and cook the vegetables." Sarah watched and asked, "Mama, how long do we cook the rice?" I answered, "We cook the rice for about 20 minutes until it is soft." While cooking, I talked more English with my children. I said, "Boil the water slowly. Stir the vegetables with a spoon." Ayan repeated, "Boil the water." Sarah said, "Stir the vegetables." After some time, the lunch was ready. I said, "The lunch smells very good." Sarah said, "I am hungry now." Ayan said, "Let's eat, Mama." We sat down at the table again. I said, "Please take your plates." We enjoyed our healthy lunch together. After lunch, we all felt happy and full. I said, "Now it's time to rest a little and spend some quiet time together." We all sat together in the living room. Ayan said, "Can we watch a cartoon?" I smiled and said, "Okay, but only for 20 minutes." Sarah said, "I want to draw after the cartoon." While the cartoon played, I talked to my children. I said, "Today, we learned many new English words and sentences." "Yes, Mama, I like learning English with you." Sarah said, "Me too. It is fun to learn with family." After the cartoon finished, Sarah took her drawing book. She said, "I will draw a picture of our house." I said, "That sounds wonderful. I want to see your drawing later." Ayan said, "I want to play a puzzle." Good idea. Playing puzzles helps us think and learn. We spent the afternoon relaxing, talking, and having fun. It was a nice quiet time after a busy morning. As the sun started to go down, I said, "Evening is a great time to go outside and have fun." I told Ayan and Sarah, "Let's go to the playground." They were very excited. Ayan said, "Yay, I love the playground." Sarah smiled and said, "Me too, Mama. I want to swing." We put on our shoes and went outside together. The air felt cool and fresh. I said, "Look at the beautiful sky as the sun sets." At the playground, Ayan ran to the football. He kicked the ball and said, I will practice my football skills. Sarah ran to the swings. She said, I want to swing high in the sky. While they played, I watched and smiled. I said to the camera, playing outside in the evening is very good for children. It helps them stay healthy and happy. Ayan shouted, Come and play football with me, Mama. I laughed and said, Okay, I will try. Sarah said, After swinging, I want to play on the slide. Let's go, Sarah. We spent a joyful evening playing and talking at the playground. It was a perfect way to end the day before going home. After a fun time at the playground, we went back home. The sky was getting dark and the stars started to shine. Now, it's time to relax and get ready for dinner. Ayan and Sarah washed their hands carefully. I said, It is very important to have clean hands before eating. They nodded and said, Yes, Mama. While I started cooking dinner, Ayan and Sarah helped me set the table. Please put the plates and spoons on the table. Sarah carefully placed the glasses. Ayan helped with the napkins. As I cooked, I talked to my children about the day. I said, Today was a busy and happy day. We cleaned the house, played outside, and learned new things. Sarah said, I love spending time with you, Mama. Ayan said, Me too. It was fun. Soon, the smell of the food filled the kitchen. I said, Dinner is ready. Let's eat together. We all sat at the table and enjoyed the meal. It was a peaceful evening filled with family love and happiness. After dinner, I said, Now it's time to get ready for bed. Ayan and Sarah brushed their teeth. I said, Brushing your teeth keeps them clean and healthy. Sarah smiled and said, I like brushing my teeth. Ayan said, Me too. Then I helped them change into their pajamas. I said, Comfortable clothes help you sleep well. They wore their soft pajamas and looked cozy. We went to the bedroom. I said, Let's read a story before sleeping. Sarah picked her favorite book. I read the story slowly and clearly. After the story, I said, Good night, my dear children. Sleep well and have sweet dreams. They smiled and said, Good night, Mama. I turned off the light and quietly left the room. Thank you, dear friends, for spending the day with me and my family. I hope you enjoyed our day together, waking up, cleaning, playing, and relaxing. Remember, every day is special when you spend it with your loved ones. Learning English with family makes it fun and easy. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe to Beginner English Zone channel for more fun and easy English stories. See you soon in the next video. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.